Yeah, so for this next section, we're going to be talking about something that I think all of us are going to be super excited about, and that's money. Because let's face it, if you guys are entrepreneurs, I'm pretty sure you guys didn't go into entrepreneurship with the hopes of being broke your whole life, right? We want to make money, obviously. And of course, money isn't everything, but if you manage it correctly, it can help you pay your bills. It can also help you take care of your family, and of course, it can change your life and those around you.
Absolutely. So we're going to be focusing a lot on financial literacy. We're going to have everybody, if you would, we're going to direct our attention back up to the stage so we can show some respect to our panelists and our keynote speakers. So if you would, let's shift our focus right back up to the front of the stage. Thank you guys so much. So we're going to be focusing on financial literacy because not only is it important for us to focus on working hard to make the money, but it's equally as important for us to know what to do once we get the money. Knowing how to properly invest it in order to create multiple streams of income, creating capital for ourselves. So it's tremendously important. So we're going to be talking a lot about serial entrepreneurship in this next panel session. So are you guys ready to be introduced to your panel? Yes. All right, let's get it going.
So for our first panelist, we have the lovely Maunda Land. She is the president and CEO of Land Consulting, LLC, and she has a passion to help others on their road to financial freedom. Let's give it up for Maunda Land.
All right. Yes, absolutely. That's all you. All righty, introducing next to the stage, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. William Moxey. Let's go! Mr. Moxey is the owner of QuickBooks, Super X Music, Green Homes, No Show Brands, to name a few. Moxey's currently making national headlines for surprising his kids with their very own ATM business and QuickBooks Now. So give it up again for Mr. William Moxey.
So next up to the stage, we have Monique Alston. She's the owner of Alston Associates and Kilpatrick Hawley. So she got into entrepreneurship as a hobby, and she just wanted to help others to build their business with knowledge. So let's give it up for Monique. Monique.
All right, and last but not least, we're introducing to the stage Mrs. Christianna Hurt, the founder of Wealthy College. Christianna is a seven-figure college graduate. She specializes in e-commerce, and at just 26 years of age, she's already become a very fierce female entrepreneur. So let's give it up one more time for Christianna Hurt. And of course, as always, we're going to welcome back to the stage our fantastic moderator, who is the CEO of OC Business Development and the founder of CIS. Give it up one more time for Oriana.
Hey you all, how are you guys doing this evening? Y'all ready to talk about some money? We're gonna get to this money. So we got some real heavy hitters on the stage here. I would like to start with everybody just introducing themselves and a little bit about yourself from your own perspective. You know, we could read off your bio all day, but y'all can give us the real gems. So we'll start with you, Miss Monique Alston.
Good evening. I am Monique Alston, the owner of Kilpatrick Hawley, Alston Trucking and Box Company, also Alston Associates, and I also, every year quarterly, I'll do my own tax office.
Okay.
I have a leadership program where I teach and mentor business, write business plans, teach you how to build business credit, and also how to maintain business credit so that you don't have to use your personal credit.
That's important.
It's very important.
All right, how about you, Mox?
How you doing? My name is Moxey, one of the owners of Loud Gallery, one of the owners of Super X Music under EQ and Rock Nation, and owner of QuickBooks Now, which is a family-owned business, an ATM business in Central Florida.
Maunda?
Thank you so much, Oriana, for having us. So my name is Maunda Land, and I am the owner and president and CEO of Land Consultants, LLC. I help organizations achieve their strategic objectives. So my background is in association nonprofit management. So I work with organizations and help them that way. I also develop some side hustles of trading and cryptocurrency. I've written a book on a beginner's guide to cryptocurrency, and I absolutely love it. So if you have questions, you can always ask. And I just love helping people manifest financial freedom and getting on their financial freedom path. So I come from an internal audit, as well as I used to be an exec at the Florida Institute of CPAs. And so I really have a passion for financial literacy and helping our community and the next generation really be successful and manifest financial freedom.
So important.
So my name is Christianna Hurt. You guys know me well for Wealthy College Kit, which is an e-commerce educational platform, as well as the Boss Palace, where we specialize in selling vendors lists online. I also own a children's clothing line called Just Kid Kids, but I particularly just specialize in e-commerce.
All right. So I'm gonna open up this discussion. So when it comes to income, generating income, we know that there are two main, I wanna say main, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. There are two main sources of income. You have active income and then you have passive income. So what I would like to kind of start and kick off this discussion with is, what do you guys feel like the difference is and how important is it to ultimately tap into both of those at some point in time in your life, if you are striving for intergenerational wealth? Open up the floor.
You want me to start? I will do the honors. So the biggest difference between active income is income that you have to get up every single day and obviously generate. Whereas passive income is income that you will make regardless if you're sleeping or up or eating, whatever the case may be, that income is guaranteed. So one of the biggest things with creating passive income is you can't have it if you do not have an active income. It's very important to be making money when you're awake before you start worrying about making money in your sleep.
It's true. Very true. Anybody else want to add to that?
I'll touch on it. So I know we'll elaborate more with the ATM business as well, but as far as passive income with the ATM itself, you literally are making money while you sleep. But as you said, it takes money to make money. So for you to get to that point, you have to have some form of active money to get your passive income as well.
The only other thing, I'm sorry, the only thing what I would add is that I think what the pandemic should have taught all of us is that one income is too close to none. And that we need to develop multiple streams of income, because companies and organizations had to look at their bottom line. They had to take that hard look and say, well, I'm sorry, this business unit isn't a profit and revenue generating business unit. So you're doing a great job, but you have to go. And if you don't have some other form of income streams developed, then you're gonna just be on unemployment or whatever the case is. But we all have a talent, we all have skills, we all have abilities, and now is the time, with what we've learned here today, that we can maximize our income and monetize what we know.
Very true, very true. So I know a lot of us in here, some of us are actual active entrepreneurs, some of us have businesses, and some of us are 9-to-5 workers, and we're still actively interested in building our own business, but we're not really sure how. So when we talk about kind of like branching out and creating multiple streams of revenue, what are some ways that someone who is possibly working a 9-to-5 can tap into that? Because you can still work a 9-to-5 and have money coming in other ways. So what are some ways that you guys would encourage people to get involved?
I would definitely start with looking down at your phone and understanding that that is a stream of income within itself. A lot of people that have 9-to-5s, you have children, you have parents, you have outside domestic issues that are taking away from your ability to learn a new skill set. And we can practice and preach all day about reading books or trying, but the truth of the matter is outside of underlying issues are distracting you from that ability. So a lot of people here today probably have about 45 minutes to an hour to dedicate to an extra stream of income, but they're not necessarily looking for an extra 6 figures. Maybe an extra $500 a day or an extra $3,000 a month would put you in a better position financially, in a better mental space, because now you're not worried about credit card debt, you're not worried about what's on the table or rent. So take those smaller steps in looking into something like eBay dropshipping or Facebook Marketplace. Everybody here shops on Walmart.com or Amazon.com, not realizing those same products are being peddled through smaller platforms such as Facebook and eBay, which people day to day still are making millions of dollars on Facebook and billions of dollars on eBay, because I can sit here and tell you I'm the example of it. So with that being said, everybody here knows how to go to Walmart.com, click on best-selling items, copy and paste the photos in the description and put it right on Facebook and add, an extra $20, $30, sell it 5 times, that's $100 a day, times 7, that's $700 a week. And that's tax-free income to your bank account.
Y'all taking notes? Mounda?
That was good. There are so many ways to make money. I've thought of so many things that you can do, and that was just amazing. Great idea. I think one thing that you can do to develop your streams of income is look at your skills and talents. I mean, you're like the lady said about podcasting, you are talented about something. You have a knowledge base about something, and you can maximize that knowledge base. Additionally, it's not hard to learn a new skill. You could have asked me 3 years ago what I know about trading or cryptocurrency. The answer is no. It's because I actually sat down, listened to videos, studied, and I'm not talking about a ton of time. I'm talking about learning a new skill that anyone can do. It's not rocket science, but when you open your door and open your ideas up for new opportunities, the world will open up for you. And just a nugget, if you connect with me, I was telling someone earlier that there's a way that you can literally make money with no money down. Just an example there, but I'm doing mining for cryptocurrency, and I have a company that will pay you to put the miner in your home or business, and it's no money down. That's the type of stuff when you get in the space and you just take time to learn, new opportunities will open itself up, and that's passive income.
Absolutely, yeah, you touched on it perfectly.
And you can also just building, even working a 9 to 5 every day. I was an accountant for Home Depot. And when I would get off work, I would go home and I would practice and I would build myself and my dreams. And everything begins with you. I don't care what you do. Very true. You have to start within yourself first. You have to find what is that thing and reason for you to get up every day. Because you can get up every day and go into a 9 to 5 job. If something happens to you, before they get you to the hospital, that job's clocked you out. Just think about it. If you can go into a 9 to 5 and build for somebody else, you can do it for yourself. It's just all about discipline. Once you get off work, you start with what's about you.
You have to find that time commitment.
I definitely want to touch on that because honestly, if you create a routine, something that you follow, because technically, if you work a 9 to 5, you get up every day. If you know you're late for work, you're going to be reprimanded. So understand when you start your own business, you have to hold yourself accountable as well. Me, doesn't matter how far technology goes, I write everything down. And I sign it because I want to hold myself accountable. So like to elaborate on the COVID, right? So when COVID-19 hit, I think that is what brought the most, the beast out of entrepreneurs, right? So to elaborate on passive income, I own my own ATM business. And some people may look at an ATM and think twice, like I wouldn't even think about starting a business. Like right now, I walked in a hotel and I seen that there was an ATM there, and as soon as I leave, I'm gonna make sure I grab that account as well. Mm-hmm. But with an ATM business, you make money off the surcharges. So when you pay that fee goes to an independent contractor like myself. And right now, honestly, we probably have one of the biggest accounts in Central Florida. We just locked down Waterford Lakes and a couple 100 But yeah, so we'll elaborate more on that later, but you have to create a formula that works for you. Now, whatever works for Mrs. Hurt, for you, it may be different from us, but the same thing is that, the same thing goes, you have to create some type of structure. You gotta hold yourself accountable. If you really wanna do it, you can do it. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is go on Instagram. So instead of going on Instagram, probably go ahead and check the news, check the forecast, check on Amazon. She has an e-commerce. Tap in, see what the ATM market is looking like. There's a lot of things you can do with your time. You just have to use your time wisely. Really simple.
Speaking of time, running multiple businesses, having the active income, the passive income, then balancing it with family, then you got friends, then you have me time. Y'all all up here got multiple streams of income. How do you do it? How do you balance it? what are your gems or keys to leave the audience with? Because we telling them to build the multiple streams, but we gotta give them some guidance.
I mean, I can attest to the fact that I'm an anomaly. At the end of the day, you know, I am 26 years old. I do not have children. I don't have, you know, a marriage. So I can wake up at 5 a.m. and go 3 days without talking to anyone and make 6 figures if I need to. But everybody's not going to be like that. So if you're, you know, a single parent or you're in a bad situation, you have to learn how to remove yourself for even just an hour a day, whether it's 11 p.m. or 11 a.m., and dedicate that time to something else and just, you know, put the phone down. The biggest thing with me is there is no balance. I didn't get here because I was balanced and I meditated and I read books. I got here because I went days without sleep. I got here because I put in the 18-hour workday. So I love everybody's balance, but I can't say that my results came from balance.
That's real. I mean, that's what we here for, the real.
I love that.
We here for the real.
I love that. I think
No, we don't have no balance. We just go try.
Me, honestly, I have 4 kids. You know, my 4 kids are my wife. So when it comes to balancing, before 8 p.m. I had a hookah lounge and a nightclub, an art gallery, and it really dawned on me when my son asked me to go to career day. I couldn't go to the school to talk about hookah, right? So I had to figure out what could I do to balance out my life. So I actually got into a business that worked for me and worked for my kids, and I did something that I can have them a part of. So it's hard being an entrepreneur and raising kids. I mean, it's my oldest son is 17. He has his own car. He works. It's difficult. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing. But guess what? The way you can do it is just how can I say? Just involve them. You know what I mean? Involve your kids in whatever you're doing, and that's how you build generational wealth. And again, we're gonna touch base on that. I don't want to keep on jumping back and forth, but we're gonna like realistically, we have to involve our kids with everything we do.
It's important.
A lot of things start with discipline. Once you discipline yourself and you get to that point, like I'm not gonna tell anybody it's easy, because it's not. Listen, we can sit up here, we can talk about wealth, income, all that. It's not easy. It's some days you're gonna want to give up. It's some days but your good days outweigh your bad days. I get up every day and go into my business every single day. Do I have to? No. I can put someone in position to do those things. But as a business owner, you become your janitor, you become your accountant, your manager, and you become everything in order for your business to be successful. Not saying that you can't hire somebody in position to run your business, but you did all that research, staying up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, not to be a part of what you're building. My children have their own lives, so they're all grown. So mine is a little different.
Okay.
When I was a younger mom, I just didn't have this determination. You know, you just didn't have time between Little League, cheerleading, all that stuff. But now that it's just me by myself, I'm able to be in position to, when that little girl out there call me and say, can you do this? I can do it. I can make sure my kids are okay. So I'm not gonna put what my dream onto them because they have their own dreams. Now, can I give them advice? Yes, I will do that. My daughter came to me, she wanted to start a business. Okay? You gotta listen to me. When I told you that when you go and you purchase product, this is what she will come in at. When you purchase your products, when you make the money, you don't spend it. You have to rebuy products. You have to keep yourself with products at all times. If not, what is the purpose of you doing that type of business? You have to discipline yourself to the point that just because I just made $100,000 don't mean I'm going to spend $100,000. Asset, credit, discipline, and being able to say, it's because I'm rich or I'm worth $500,000 don't mean I'm going out and buy a Ferrari today. You know, because we're all a witness to what just happened last year with the pandemic. So you have to be a step ahead of the what ifs. but at the same time, keep your business generating.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree 100% with what everyone said, but discipline is key. When I was an executive, you think being an executive, you're consumed with this organization and that is your life. But honestly, working multiple and having multiple businesses, you work more than you ever would have worked.
Absolutely.
You work until it is done. And my father actually lives with us now, so we have a multi-generational home. My husband and I have been married for 20 years, and so now we are adopting. So we're starting a multi-generational home with my father and now a baby coming in. But I love the fact that my father will come down and he'll say, "Are you still working?" Yes.
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 You work.
I know you retired, but I still have to work. And so that's the way it is when you're an entrepreneur. You just have to figure out, I keep a map, a chart, and I say, what's important to me? Okay, adoption, what do I have to get done? Okay, business, I have consulting clients, what has to get done? And every week I'm laying out my different, I call them quadrants, and what I need to do. And that helps me because then otherwise, sometimes you can feel overwhelmed, like you have a ton of things to do because you have so many different projects. But if I compartmentalize it, it helps me. So I hope that helps somebody as well.
I can see that. I can see that for sure. So up here, we have some very different spectrums because we have families, we have expecting families, we have building, and I feel like someone out there can relate to each and every one of our stories because we really encompass what an entrepreneur is. So when we talk about like intergenerational wealth, that's different for everybody because at the end of the day, we're taking care of whether it's ourselves, whether it's our families, our uncles. So what do you guys feel like is like the most important factor of intergenerational wealth and how do we establish that?
I think that a lot of us have the concept of when you hear people say, I want to be able to give my children things that I never had. But if you think about it, you really don't want to give them the things that they never had. You want to teach and instill in them the things that you were never taught. So if something happens to you, and you're sitting there and you're the parent that gives and gives and gives, and here it is, something happens to you. Guess what? You don't have a child that's going to be able to run that company that you have took up time to build because they're used to spending. So you have to sit down and start teaching generational wealth from knowledge. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. In order for a child to be able to generate the things that you have accomplished when you're gone or when you can't do it anymore, you have to teach them the knowledge. You have to teach them the discipline part. You have to be able to teach them the finances, how to write a check. Most young children don't even know how to write a signature or write a curse because they're not teaching them in school now. Most don't know how to balance out a bank book because they're not teaching them. And the thing about it is, you have to also know that it's better to use your credit card than your debit card. You know why? Because if you steady swipe a debit card, you're taking away from the things that you're supposed to be saving when you should be generating assets and credit so that you don't ever touch your personal and it's just building and building.
Ooh, yes. Mox, I know that you made headlines with QuickBooks because you established a business with your family and your kids. Let's talk about that.
So just to touch on that as well, growing up, I wasn't raised with a father. So I had a single mother who is till this day still a serial entrepreneur. Right now, she has about 4 locations. She has 3 hair salons in that category. So all I've seen her do was grind, and cut her own checks. So that instilled with me, even though I didn't get into the hair industry, she showed me how to become a serial entrepreneur. Now, I didn't know about credit because she didn't know about credit at the time. So these type of things I'm teaching my kids as of now. Like I said, with the QuickBooks business, I have my son, which is the oldest. He's actually doing installs and programs. And like you said, I don't push it onto them. I just give them the knowledge, just in, God forbid something happens to me, they can run the business. But it's not something for them to have if they don't need it. You know, my son, they want to go to the NBA, like any other young boy and playing basketball. And I tell them, I said, well, listen, as long as you go to college, you have something to fall back on, right? So my daughter, she's 12, and she handles my books. You know, my 8-year-old, he comes with me to load, so they understand money and the importance of responsibility. And I'm just stepping up and showing them, like, listen, this is how you're supposed to be a father. Because I didn't have that opportunity. And that wasn't given to me. So I would suggest for anyone out there who has kids, who is planning to have kids, when you plan on starting a business, involve them. Once again, involve them and make sure they understand the importance of credit, responsibility, and drive. Let them know that they can do it. If they have an idea, don't brush them and say, all right, that doesn't make money now, it's not gonna work. My son probably had like 10 ideas in 1 month, and I invested in all of them.
Better slow and
Because I'd rather him fail now so he can succeed later.
It's important, it's powerful.
Well, I don't have children yet, but my story is a little different. One of my mentors told me about investing in silver assets, and I know we'll talk about some assets and things like that, but I started getting silver. And when I first got silver, I put it away, and I realized that my mother had left me silver. It was kind of one of those things that she passed away in 2012, and it was just I put it up and didn't think about it. But when I saw it, I realized that that was a way of leaving generational wealth. And I had someone actually tell me that their father passively was buying silver and passed away, unfortunately, but left them enough to put a down payment on a home by their silver assets. And so I said, well, I want to do that for other families, just like my mother left for me, silver for me. I want to be able to give that to others. So one of my businesses is around silver assets and helping people get silver assets. I have a store, online store. And the same way my mother gave silver to me, you can leave that for your family, your children's, and just have that legacy passively. So I have a whole website, and we're dedicating our adoption around that. So we have Silver for Baby Land. So that's our website there for that. But I'm just so excited about that opportunity and how that touched me, and to be able to leave that legacy for others.
That's powerful.
I love to hear that. I really feel like duplication and so many others as an example, whether it's your friends and family, because when you start making money, obviously the eyes start to turn to you, friends, family start to ask questions. So I think it's important to be able to duplicate that success, not only in yourself, but in the people that you love, your friends and family, and even strangers. So that when the time does come that you have a family, you've duplicated thousands of times. At least I can say I've honestly duplicated my success thousands of times in all walks of life and all demographics, that it'll be clockwork or cake to duplicate it in a child. So I just feel like duplication is the most important thing when you are successful, being able to do it for others, because if you can't do it again, did you really do it?
Ooh,
Okay.
Hold on now.
Apply no pressure.
So with that being said, let's talk timing. How do you know it's the right time to grow and scale? So you have this one business you're rocking with, you're doing all right, you're doing good in scale sales, but you do want to acquire multiple streams. How do you know when it's the right time to jump into the ATM business or the silver business or e-commerce or trucking? Like, how do we know when it's time to expand?
When you drive past the Bentley dealership and you have the down payment, and you
Oh, so that's what we supposed to know.
you can't exactly jump that fence yet, but the fence is right there, like you could scale it.
So it's within reach.
Yeah, so you gotta scale up, because you want to be able to buy things 3 times before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to go through tax returns at least twice before you make big purchases like that. I didn't buy a 6-figure car until this year, and I now have enough tax returns that I could go buy a home by myself. So I just feel like when you are able to do these things alone with no cosign, or just in general, when you're able to see, all right, I'm right there, it's time to scale up.
So it's all about financial literacy. It's really knowing your numbers.
Which is not included in a direct deposit.
That part. Like Jason said, you can't buy it 2-3 times, you don't even buy it. What about you all?
I think that when you ask yourself, is it the right time? That's when it's time.
Yeah.
I mean, time waits on nobody. The people that was here yesterday that's gone today, all they had today, so eventually. I mean, You can get up today and you can make $10 today. And just like that, social media can turn that $10 into 10,000. You might not make 200 in the next 2 days, but then the next week, you may make 100,000. True. So it's on. If you're gonna ask, is it time? The time is then.
That's so true.
I don't want to get too spiritual, but, but my spirit tells me when it's time, right? So I talk to God a lot. I don't want to get too spiritual, like I said, but God allows me to do what I do for myself and my children. So I want to give a shout out to God for the platform, right? But also when it comes to that, my spirit tells me when to move. You know, I pray about it, and if it's time, I'm gonna move on it. But believe it or not, I'm a doer. So regardless of the fact, it's gonna get done, right? But like I said, I pray about it. If God gives me all the right signs, I'm doing it.
I love that, and I think most of the time, especially people that have worked a 9 to 5, you're waiting on permission versus just doing it. So instead of saying, when is it time, just act, just start. It doesn't, like, I love what you said about your son. I mean, you invested in 10 different businesses. It doesn't matter if they all fail, but most of us want to go into business and they want them all to be successful. And that's not the case. Maybe some of them don't pan out, but you've learned from it, and then you can be the better for it. And that's what it's all about. So I think it's about just doing it, just acting, just trying, modifying, tweaking, and then going back after it again. That's how you get success.
Ooh, that's a good one. Like you said, modifying, tweaking it, because at the end of the day, this just business in general, everything is ever evolving. Everything is changing. The processes that worked 2 months ago not gonna work in 2 months. They probably not even gonna work today. So how do you guys keep up with like the changes in the times with, you know, the evolution? How do you guys keep up?
Well, Wealthy College Kid obviously stands for education in a sense, but you enroll to earn and you remain a student until you die, honestly. You want to continue learning, continue being open-minded, and understand that things are constantly changing, so you constantly have to have an open mind and an open book to learning new things.
I agree 100%. And what you're saying there is that community is important. And for me, as an entrepreneur, I have to surround myself with other entrepreneurs. I'm in a mastermind group that is all about building wealth and especially women entrepreneurship, and paying the price for coaching and paying the price to get around people that are thinking like-minded and thinking above you, so that you can actually scale your business. And that is key. And I think community is just so key. So you have to think about who you're around and who you're surrounding yourself with, and are they taking you to where you want to go?
Oh, that's a good one. Absolutely. Are you all familiar with like the pillars of wealth? The pillars of wealth for success? Elaborate. So they say that as you become successful, you have to basically conquer these different pillars on the way up there. And it's kind of like the groundwork is community and involvement with the people around you. And then after that, it kind of scales up, and it's really more so about what's most important to you. So what do you feel is you being, you know, wealthy? What is success to you? So I guess I can rephrase the question. What do you guys determine as success? Like, when do you feel like you can say, okay, I'm successful, even though we're always ever evolving and we're still growing, and we may all not be exactly where we want to be. But at some point in time, you have to pat yourself on the back and say, yeah, I'm doing good. But at what point do you feel that?
I feel like I'm at that point now because I'm able to make other people successful. Before I've always going into business, you know, back when I had the hookah lounge, the club, the gallery. When you say community is king, I was all for community, and I still am. But everything I did was for everyone else. You know, some people first event, first showcase, performance, whatever the case may be. I gave a platform for everyone because in my mind, if they're successful, I'm successful, and that's why I started the QuickBooks ATM Academy. My mentor, my my first mentor ever, believe it or not, right? He told me, he said the key thing, he said, do not hold on to the information, right? Don't be selfish, right? I don't know, I didn't know what that meant until now. And right now, we only been running the academy for about a year next month, and we have over 100 students nationwide.
I would say it's a strong year.
It's a strong year, yes. So, thank you. And with that said, like I said, for me to be successful, the term successful is seeing other people successful. Yeah.
That's deep.
Well, I honestly can say, coming home with the light still on.
Okay, right?
But honestly, what did it for me was walking into Whole Foods and no longer knowing the price of milk, no longer knowing the price of, organic chicken. I just pick everything up and I go in because I afford it. And that was true freedom. You don't really, like some of you guys may chuckle, but being able to feed yourself is the definition of true freedom. Because that's what we're all striving to do, is feed ourselves. Whether, you're feeding yourself filet mignon or you're feeding yourself a tofu burger, being able to put food on the table for yourself and others is what freedom is. So it was at that moment in Whole Foods, I really realized, like, lit. I'm lit. Like, I'm in Whole Foods with a bonnet, and I just blew like $600 on, I don't know.
That's some good food.
But I-
You didn't have to
it's
check the
organic.
bank account before you walked in.
It's organic, and my fridge was colorful. You know you're rich when your fridge is colorful. Like,
I think levels, when you speak from a younger person, you think success is materialistic things, but when you speak from a person that knows that if you go out and you put in the work and you give, God is gonna make sure that He takes care of you. Everything else comes because you're out and you're giving. Success isn't just money or materialistic things. Everybody can fill up their fridge. You have to teach knowledge. You have to be successful. It takes one person. If you can speak into a room and you can get through to one person, that's success.
I agree. I agree 100%. I would say for me, success is when God gives me an idea and I can fulfill that idea. And I realize that fulfilling the idea is not for me, it's for somebody else. And that's true success, because we're all put on this earth for a purpose, for a reason. And if we don't achieve that purpose and reason, then somebody else isn't able to achieve their purpose and reason. So it's bigger than us, and it's bigger than our lineage, but that's true success. God dropping an idea in my spirit and saying, do this, do that, start this business, do this, talk to this person, and me doing that, and then that taking them somewhere else. That's success for me.
I love it. You guys gave some amazing answers. So my question for you all, kind of to follow up with that, is now when it comes to like sewing in your community, how do you do it properly to where you're giving away? Because you see so many people who are giving away free information, but at the same time, with so many resources like YouTube, University, and B.Rhodes, it's like, how do we know these people are giving us quality content? So for you all, when it came time for you guys to scale, where did you go for guidance?
For me, my mentor was a gentleman by the name of Mark Joy. He owns Joy Enterprises. He's an African-American man. He owns 48 restaurants around the world, from, Subways to
So he doing
Church's
it.
Chicken, and it was ironic that I met him. I was doing a give back in Jacksonville, and his Subway was on the corner of the neighborhood where I was at, trying to do give back. So I figured, okay, he's in the neighborhood, I'll go to him to see if he wanted to donate. No, he straight told me no. But he said, if you come back, I'll teach you how to build to donate things for yourself.
Oh.
Okay,
So I said,
that's worth a lot more.
Absolutely.
You all have mentors?
I definitely do. I have several, and I think that you should have several mentors, depending on what your goals are in professional and others. But I have, my coach is Dr. Stacia Pierce, and she's a life coach and business coach, and I absolutely love the information that she provides. I'm in part of her community, and it's just been a great benefit. But I pay, even though I know her, I pay to be a part of the community. While you have a lot of things on YouTube, and I even have free products. I have a free product for everybody here today. You can go on my website and download the free How to Maximize Your Income Streams. It's free. But at the end of the day, the real nuggets will come when you pay for things. Free information is great, and people have a wealth of knowledge on YouTube or other platforms, but you don't know if they're getting paid by people. At the end of the day, you want to invest in people that know more and want to go where, or can take you where you want to go. And that's worthy of you investing your money, your time, because you are worth the investment. So I pay for coaching, I pay for the community, because I know that she can tell me where I need to go. And when I get in the presence of those that are ahead of me, and I respect their wisdom, I honor them. I give them gifts. I pour into them, because it's so important that we respect that. And that does cost money sometimes.
I love that. I really do. But I feel like people buy people. And at the end of the day, you may not know me from a can of paint. So who am I to tell you to pay me just because you can Google search what I've made or what I've made for somebody else? That's why I really do pride myself on teaching people, to make that first $500 before you ever step into an ebook or a course or a room or anything like that. Because let's be real, $500 is 9 times out of 10 enough to make some type of difference. A real difference, whether it's in the grocery store, whether it's a car payment or daycare. And nobody is going to trust or believe in financial freedom when they are still in the shackles of stress of outside stuff. Like, how am I going to tell you to be financially free when you have an eviction notice? Do you really think they're thinking about that right now? Like, really? And for those of you, I have been evicted. I know what it's like to come home to that. If you think Bill Gates could have told me he was going to make me rich. I was not going to give up my last couple dollars. I'm getting evicted. So for me, I try to pride myself on teaching people that first $500, that first $1,000, because that's enough to at least have you look in the mirror and feel like it's not the end of the world. It's a lot easier to believe in yourself and to put yourself in a position to learn and believe when you've gotten yourself out of that hole. Sometimes we just need that little bit of push, that $500 in your bank account to be like, all right, this is real. Because you don't know me. Let's just be real. Like, because you're on Google and it said I can make you rich, or you really don't believe it? No.
I want to touch on that because, like she said, people buy into people. So with that said, like as a person, I feel like I add value because of what I've been through. So if I create a course for you, best believe you're not going to go through anything I went through to get to where you need to get. Right? So I've never had a mentor prior to this. Like Loud Gallery, Hookah Lounge, all of these businesses I actually started from the ground up with no one, no guidance. This is just all the spirit and the wind. You know what I mean? And realistically now I say, you know what, I'm stepping into a venture that's been around for years, but I'm taking the same mindset and I'm coming to disrupt the market. And that's exactly what we did. So my 2 mentors, my first mentor, he has over 800 machines.
Wow.
Right? So my second mentor, he's my age, he looks just like us. He has 100 machines. Clears about 300,000 hours a year off 100 machines. So what does that tell you? Add value. You're gonna pay for knowledge. Someone can pull up in a Lamborghini on YouTube and say, this ATM got me this, and I'll tell you that's a lot. Because passive income is not gonna get you that with one machine, but 100 machines may get you that.
And then you have to think about, too, everybody up here has said or have given you the knowledge that we all started somewhere else and failed, but we didn't give up. She's telling you she's young, she's 26 years old. how she failed in the beginning, but now look at her. She's telling you, I started this, but then here I am doing this, and I'm adding to this. He's did it. I've done it. We never gave up. Your biggest teacher is failure. Because once you fail,
That's it.
you're gonna be more determined not to go back in that space again.
That's right.
That's so good.
Touch that.
Okay.
Well,
I always tell people my last L made me my first M. There's a reason why they're in the alphabet next
I
to
love that.
What was that pivotal moment? Because we're talking a lot about our successes and how we got here. But what was that pivotal moment for us? Correct me if I'm wrong, we all work 9 to 5s, right? At some point in time, right?
Yeah.
We did it.
I worked at Wing House.
Okay, see? I was at Walgreens.
I was serving Captain and Coke.
So what was that pivotal moment where you was like, all right, this is not for me. I'm gonna start investing in me. And what was it that you did?
Unfortunately, I walked out. He said I was gonna close, and I said not today, and I left.
Oh, so you felt it.
I don't listen. I have a listening problem. Like in school in elementary, it put it and it said she has a listening problem, or my favorite, like disrespectful. Like,
Okay.
But you know, I grew up and I always told people, you know, I'm gonna put myself where respect or whatever the case may be, any of these boxed words won't apply to me, you know. In my junior year, I had an anatomy teacher who felt some type of way about me leaving every day because I don't eat cafeteria food and I was gonna stand on that. You know, I said like one day, like I'm gonna eat what I want to eat the same way I am today, and I put myself in a position where I eat what I want to eat. I wake up when I want to wake up because there was a time where I couldn't. So that pivotal moment just came with rebellion, honestly.
Okay, and motivation.
That's good. That's good. I think for me, I was an executive, and I was in an organization that culturally just didn't fit. And I'm a people person. If you know me, I love people, and I'm a connector. So if you have a goal, I can get you to somebody. You know, so don't come up with me afterwards. But I'm just saying, I am very I'm a connector, and I like that. But when I was in an organization that didn't fit, that was a blow to me because I thought I could fit anywhere. You know, I worked in politics. I can make anything fit. And I have a wonderful husband, and he came to me one day and he said, you trade, Wanda. You know the market. You can do this. Sit down at the computer and learn it. You know, he didn't say it like that, but he's really nice. But, and so it was me finding what was a side hobby and finding about crypto and saying, no, I'm gonna double down on this. I'm gonna build our portfolio and create passive income through staking and liquidity providing and doing things like that. And I tell my, CPA, I joke with them. I said, you buy it on Coinbase, that's not enough. I need you to go out there and liquidity provide, and then you can tell me if you can do my taxes. But that's the type of thing I had to dig into so that I could learn about myself. I could learn that I could do it. And in that moment, I realized that, you know what, I know something, and now I can help others. That helped me. And it was just a process of life. I didn't think that I would end up leaving an organization. I thought I would just become because I was hired to become the exec. So I thought I'll just assume the executive position. But life turned out to now it's just in a better place with multiple streams of income. And I don't want to go back to a 9 to 5. Now I can actually have a consultant or a client that I got hired because I started a crypto summer camp for teens. So I started that, and then I got hired by another education program that is teaching kids about cryptocurrency. Nice. And all of that came because I sat there and I learned in my darkest place, in that time when I was second guessing myself. So I had to pivot, and I'm glad I did. I love it.
I think the moment for me, mine is very short, but the thing is that not having the time to be at a basketball game or be there when they sick. If I'm telling you I gotta leave early, you're telling me I can't, we got a problem. Because my kids come before anybody, in all reality. So for me, it was my kids and being available whenever they need me, honestly.
It's real.
For me, it was a moment of somebody coming up to me saying, "Can you clean the bathroom?"
She was like, nah.
Not me. I was working for an executive of a private company, and when he asked me that, I knew that it was time for me to. I'm not cleaning no bathroom.
Okay. That's very straightforward.
And then also, like, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. When I first moved from my city to where I live at now, I wasn't as successful as I am now. I have been successful, and I failed. I lost tremendously. The L that I took then made me stronger. It made me, and then when I moved to a city with no family, no friends, a bad relationship, that put more determination in me. And then at the same time, pandemic hit, that made me go stronger and harder. Even though I have this business and this business, you see me on Instagram, you see me in a hard hat, I added general contractors to my belt. I'm out there in the sun. Because I don't want to ever be put in a position where I have to ask someone, or my children have to go without, or my grandchildren have to go without.
That's so important. That's your why. It's important. Determining your why early in the game is definitely a game changer. So what I would like to kind of tap into is education. Because I feel like that's one of the misconceptions of being a business owner and an entrepreneur. We feel like you have to go to school, you have to get this 5-year, 6-year degree, when that isn't necessarily the path for everybody. How do you guys feel about that?
Honestly, I'm dealing with it right now. My son is 17 and he graduates next year. So I tried college, it wasn't for me. I did graduate high school, so I applaud that.
Yeah.
But as far as college, so my son asked me, he said, "Dad, do I have to go to college because you're a successful entrepreneur? You didn't go to college." That was the moment I was dreading, you know what I mean? But I told him like this, honestly, college to me is the biggest platform there is. Before social media, college is the biggest networking platform.
True.
I don't even care what you go in there to learn, because honestly, you can learn everything online. Realistically, I'm gonna be honest with you. You can learn everything by being hands-on. But I told my son, I said, listen, if you want to network, go to college, get your degree, and network with people from nationwide, from different countries, and build something from the ground up.
The connections that
That's
can
the
be made.
connections, realistically, man, because people say, you know, as an entrepreneur, I don't want you to think that college is not the way to go. If college is for you, do it. I'm not sunning it, right? But for me, it wasn't for me. But for my kids, go there and network, get your degree, and I got you when you come home.
Hey.
Available.
I think that a lot of people think that going to college gives you success, but I know a lot of people went to college, have master's degrees, and unfortunately, I'm not trying to be.
They're still working.
They're still working, not even making $20 an hour. But then you have to know that education begins at home. Education begins when you have a 5-year-old who can fix something. That's when you pay attention. Oh, wait, he can do that. Or if you have a 15-year-old who can get out and they can sew and they can do things with their hands, that's them educate you. That's when you, exactly, that is your investment. When you see something within your children or yourself, that becomes your investment. If your child can sew an outfit better than the New York fashion show designers, why would you invest in your child? She can be more successful before she even graduated from high school, making 6 figures, because you invested something in her that she already saw that she could do, or he can do. So everything is an investment. Who says that you have to go to college to be successful? I'm not saying don't go,
You're not over here saying don't go to college.
I'm not saying that.
We just want you to know that there's opportunities available for everybody. Whether you do decide to go to college or that's not the path for you, there's opportunities that still can be created.
I agree. I think that I have a master's degree and an undergrad degree, and for me, college it was something that I felt that I needed to do, and going to my undergrad degree was expected in my home. Both my parents have master's degrees, so a bachelor's degree was expected. The master's was pretty much expected as well. But it took me 20 years to get my master's degree, and I'm so glad that I waited that time, because otherwise I wouldn't have known what I wanted to do. And when I moved down here to Florida, my husband and I, 10 years ago, we quit our jobs and moved to Florida without anything. We just moved. We felt that that's what we wanted to do. And I leaned on one of my communities, which was Michigan State University, my alum, my school that I went to, and I leaned on that alumni chapter. And from that, I was able to make connections that I know I wouldn't have been able to, get in rooms that I know I wouldn't have been able to. And so I say that to say, it's important that you do what you feel like you should do. Go get that degree, if that's what you feel like you should do. Get that master's degree if you feel like you should. But at the same time, consider the financial obligations. And as parents, we need to be more active in our children's education and start putting something away for them. That doesn't mean you have to fully fund the 529 or do the Florida College program, but don't leave our kids out there without money to go to school. Give them something that they can do. And if you can't make extra money to do it, then get every scholarship available. So they're not in a hole when they come out of school. And that's where we're falling behind as a culture. Right, with student loans. You're ending up coming out and you're working this job and you're behind. And that's where we need to make the changes and adjustments. So I would say for a person that's considering college, do everything you can to position yourself so that you don't have to pay for college. Be the best student you can be. Go to talk to your professor, see what scholarships, volunteer. There is money out there. You just have to go after it so that you're not putting yourself in a position where you're behind when you come out.
I like that. What about wealthy college kids?
I know, I love it. I feel like college is a great experience, honestly. I feel like everybody should go. I feel like not only networking, but just, finding exactly what you want. You meet so many people in college and just so many new experiences. So I definitely feel like college is something everybody should at least try. Now, if you can get away with, not paying, cool. But one semester isn't going to, put you in a lifetime of debt. Do one semester, get away with it. Or go to community college and do direct connect. There's a million different ways. But I definitely feel like you need to get out there. When I went to Louisville, there was a kid that was not enrolled in any classes. But he was there every day. Every day. I remember to this day. He was, famous because he had a backpack, but he wasn't in any classes. He's actually really successful today. His best friend played on the football team, and now he's the manager. But he never
was making connections.
He made connections, so.
What I would like to jump into before we do conclude this panel is, I know everybody here is from a different industry. I did that purposely. Everybody here is from a different industry that can be scaled with, like you guys said, the proper dedication, the perseverance, the persistence, the hustle. So I would like you guys to kind of tell everybody a little bit about your industry and if it's something that they could basically learn about to get into to create multiple streams of income. I'd like to start the conversation so that after the event, if they would like to reach out to any of you guys, because I know you guys did say you're open for guidance, they can pick up from there. So let's talk a little bit about each of you guys' industries. I ain't gonna put anybody on the spot.
I'll jump on. So, as you guys know, my name is Christianna Hurt. I teach e-commerce. E-commerce is the process of selling products online electronically. If you're here and you need $500, DM me on Instagram. You type in Wealthy College Kid. If you know how to spell my name, it's Christianna. Yeah, I'll show you how to do it by tomorrow morning.
Straight up.
All right, I guess I'll jump right into it. All right, so just to give you an insight of how the ATM business works, who here has a savings account? All right, so All that money doing is saving. It's not doing anything else. So take that money, put it into a machine, and those surcharges that you are getting, you start making money from your money. Somebody pulls $100 out of the ATM machine, $100 is redeposited back into your bank account along with the surcharge. If you want to learn how to do it, I can show you how to do it multiple times.
Yes, the academy.
Let's go.
Well, besides me having my own trucking company, I'm also a life coach. So you can go to austinandconsulting.com, and you can pretty much book me for anything, any consultations or anything that you, and you can also contact me on Instagram, Momo Jack, Facebook, Monique Alston. If you want to get into the trucking business or any type of business, you know, just everything begins with research. Spiritual market research, consumer research.
Great. And for me, my name is Maunda, and if you want to connect with me, you can do it on social media. Maunda Land is my, where I am everywhere. And if you want to learn about crypto, I'm happy to talk with you about cryptocurrency, making investments in crypto, trading crypto, passive money through crypto. I love it and would love to help you get started in that as well. And then silver, of course, for baby land, don't forget. Also, if you want to get some silver assets, I'd love to share with you about that. So just in generating multiple streams of income, I love helping people reach their goals. So however I can help you, I'd be happy to.
Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll open up the floor for any questions before we conclude.
Yeah. Hello, friend. Hello, friend.
Hi, my best friend.
So we meet again, don't we?
Yes, he's the first person. He's a go-getter. He's a go-getter.
What's poppin'?
Let's put this
That's popping, everybody out there. You know what it is, cool. I noticed something when you were talking about your why and what made you pivot to just doing your company full time. None of you guys mentioned finances. Is that supposed to play less of a role into like us taking a jump as entrepreneurs who are very nervous and intimidated by not having the capital to take that type of step?
I started my business with a negative $483, and then I think I called my dad to take it out. That's how broke I was. Wouldn't recommend that to anybody out here at all. Don't do it. It was stressful, like as hell. Now, did I make $3,000 in 30 days like I needed to because I was facing eviction? Yes, I did. But I'd be lying to you if I said that was fun. If you are, you know yourself. Let's be real. If you know yourself, you know, like, all right, like I can pull it together no matter what. You're that type of person. Jump. But if you have, you know, a child that's looking or depending on you, you can't jump. You can't make the same choices I made. You know what I mean? If you have a child or things like that. But if it's just you, you know, jump.
I would suggest is I don't know your situation, but take a risk, but in your case, take a calculated risk.
I don't know about anybody else, but when you put yourself, it's like she said earlier, when you surround yourself with successful people, you have to find people that don't mind investing in you. I'm not going to sit and say that I just went out here and I did it. No, I surrounded myself with successful people who did not mind taking a chance or risk with me. You know how the meme goes around and says, let me spell my $20 before I often tell people this story that my success started with a funky $1,800 a guy gave me. So, and I took that $1,800, I could have went out and bought a purse or some shoes, but instead I put it into myself.
Work 9 till done.
Yep. Some mornings you be up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and when you say we don't talk about finances, we're not gonna get up here and talk about what's in our bank accounts or things like that. We're gonna get up here and give you the knowledge to be able to sit down at night and say, oh, I learned that. So it's generating, money is generating. It begins, it's like the very first question, passive income.
assets, different things. That's how you begin finance. Financial literacy goes a long ways because you can take $20, and turn that $20 into $500. You know how? Everybody has stuff in their closet, their house, even in their car right now. You can go on Facebook Marketplace. It's gonna cost you a couple dollars to start marketing on Facebook Marketplace and sell reused things that you don't wear anymore or shoes, and you're beginning to generate money just from that $20. It's all about what you perceive in your head to say that I'm going to do this. It begins with your why and who you are as a person. Do you believe in yourself? That's where your finances come from.
That's good. Or take a guaranteed route. I offer Walmart automations and guaranteed 6 figures with contracts.
Y'all get over this amazing panel. Y'all are so good. Love it.
All right, we are going to conclude this panel. You guys stay put. We have an amazing keynote speaker coming up next.